Welcome to Classified Captures.
Steve here, and today we've got a wild lineup of clips ranging from lizard man sightings to clips of cryptids we never even thought could have existed. Ready to have your minds blown? Well, let's dive right in. Starting today's episode, we got a bit of a controversial one. A family's time outside their home was interrupted by a strange and unfamiliar flying insect they hadn't seen before. Not being fans of bugs, especially large, scary ones, they quickly rushed inside. Being the modern family they are, they rushed to their CCTV cam footage for what exactly they had encountered, and, well, let's just say that what they saw left them shocked. Not only was the insect larger than they initially thought, but they did notice it looked strange. For the most part, the lower part of its body seemed oddly humanoid. No one sees something like that and thinks, cool, that's normal. No, they freaked out, and naturally this family did freak out. They decided to post the clip online, and the internet went wild with speculation. Many were convinced that this could be a fairy, not the delicate glowing kind from fairy tales, but something eerily close to the old legends of fast-moving, elusive winged beings. As there always are with these things, there are two sides to the coin, and on the other side, skeptics also had their take, saying it was just an unusually large insect caught at an unflattering angle. This prompted some of us to watch the clip over and over and over again. I have my opinion on what this might be, but looking at the footage, what do you think we could be dealing with? A man was remodeling his home when he started experiencing strange occurrences. Ever since the renovations began, he claimed to have seen and heard unexplainable noises all over his property. Even his friends who were helping with the work said they felt an eerie presence in the house. One night, he received a security cam notification. His system had detected a person in the hallway. Curious, he checked the footage, but no one was there. The house was locked, so no one should have been inside. As he kept watching, he noticed this, a shadowy figure on the floor, standing there without an actual person casting it. He rewound the footage, trying to find any explanation, but there were no visible sources for the shadow. It remained there for a while, then vanished completely. The man hasn't shared whether the house has a history of hauntings, so there's no way to know if something was already lingering there. However, some believe that the renovations may have disturbed a dormant entity, possibly uncovering something that was never meant to be found. This is my kind of mystery, but not one I'd love to live and experience. But what do you guys think? This video comes from Russia. A man was walking through the forest when he stumbled upon this gigantic gray spherical object sitting right in the middle of the jungle. It looked completely out of place, like it had been dropped from somewhere else. No one seems to know what it is. Some believe it could be an alien cocoon housing something yet to emerge. Others suggest it might be a strange art installation left there by an artist as a statement piece. However, if it were just art, wouldn't someone have come forward to claim it? And if it were something unnatural, how did it end up there? Perfectly round and undisturbed. Could this actually be something extraterrestrial, or is there a more rational explanation? Whatever the situation, we wouldn't find out because we didn't receive any update from him. Maybe he discovered it was indeed nothing, or maybe the government found him and silenced him. You can never really know when it comes to these sorts of things unless you're actively involved.
Bro, what in the ever-loving shit am I looking at right now?
A man was parked on a remote wooded road when he noticed something. This toddler in a onesie running toward his car. At first, it seemed like a lost child, but then he noticed something was off. The boy's body was oddly tilted to the side, his mouth slightly open, staring at the car with a vacant, almost unnatural expression. It was as if he didn't recognize what the car was. Even more unsettling, the child kept looking at the car, then tilted his head upward toward the sky. The man called out to the boy, asking where his parents were, but the toddler didn't respond. He just stood there, staring, his posture still unnervingly slanted. The footage cuts off at that moment, so we don't know what happened next, but online people are split on what this could be. Some believe this was a real lost child wandering too far from home, but others aren't so sure. The lack of response, the unnatural posture, and the eerie behavior all feel too strange. Some even think this wasn't a child at all, but a skinwalker. You know, these beings that take up the form of people and other beings. Anyway, if you were the one sitting in the car, what would you have done? Across the US, people are recording a bizarre and unexplained sound coming from beneath the ground. Take a listen to this footage. If you focus, you'll notice it sounds like a heartbeat, but much faster.
There's something under the ground, and it sounds like it's about to bust out.
Reports have been pouring in from Tennessee, Kansas, California, you name it. Some people say the sound even made their houses vibrate. But despite so many recordings and first-hand accounts, there's been no official explanation for what this could be. Some believe this could be a natural phenomenon, like the earth shifting or even a warning sign of an impending earthquake. Others think this might not be natural at all. I mean, what if massive underground machines are being used to build tunnels under our feet? I know it sounds crazy, and of course with no solid proof, it's just a theory. When you think about it, all we have are theories because there's no official word. We've got an audience and family in the US. Has any of you experienced this? What do you think is happening down there?
There's something under the ground, and it sounds like it's about to bust out.
Okay, our skies have not been the same over the past few years, and it seems to be getting worse. At least from the perspective of this observer. It was supposed to be a night like any other until it wasn't, because he saw this thing in the sky. Watch as he zooms in on it. This object is flying steadily, but it doesn't look like any helicopter or plane we're familiar with. It's horizontal with blinking lights. Some believe that these strange crafts appear in our skies and are simply new technology being tested. But if that were the case, shouldn't the authorities acknowledge it? Why the secrecy? Unless, of course, this isn't human-made at all. Could this be proof of UFOs, or is there another explanation?
Please educate me, okay? Julius has refused to say anything on this, so I'm running blind.
Have you ever heard of the Amityville Horror? It's one of the most infamous haunted house cases in history. This particular photograph was taken by Ed Warren, a well-known paranormal investigator inside the Amityville house. In the photograph, there appears to be a young boy with glowing eyes standing at the top of the stairs, staring straight ahead. The eerie image spooked many, and Ed Warren himself believed that this was the ghost of John DeFeo, a 9-year-old boy who once lived in the house. The reason for his conclusion was because of the tragic history of the house. In 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. brutally murdered his entire family of 6, including young John. When questioned, DeFeo claimed that a mysterious voice told him to do it. With such a dark event tied to the house, the Warrens were convinced that the spirits of the DeFeo family still lingered, and this chilling photograph was proof. However, skeptics later debunked the claim, suggesting that the figure in the photograph was not John DeFeo, but instead a person who was inside the house at the time. The glowing eyes were likely just a result of a camera flash reflecting off of his eyes. Still, for those who believe in the paranormal, the question remains, was this truly the spirit of John DeFeo or just a creepy coincidence? A woman was out on the beach when she stumbled upon something, this mysterious carcass washed up on the sand. The body was oddly shaped and twisted in a way that made it difficult to identify. At first, it looked like it could be a dog or some other small animal, but then she took a closer look at its head and jaw, and that's when things got really weird. This creature didn't have the usual features of any known animal. Its elongated skull and sharp-looking jaw structure didn't match anything she could easily recognize. Instead, it looked almost prehistoric. Could this be a decomposed marine animal, a strange mutant, or even an undiscovered species? Some people online have even suggested that it looks like a small dinosaur, which sounds impossible, yet the shape of its head certainly gives off that eerie, ancient vibe. What do you think this is? A woman took her child to McDonald's for a meal. After getting the order, she tossed some fries on the ground outside her home, thinking birds or other animals would eat them. But the next day, she noticed something strange. The fries were still there, looking the same as they did the day before.
Well, yesterday I went to McDonald's to get my daughter a Happy Meal because she wanted one of those crop collectible thingies or whatever. So I'm like, okay.
Nothing had touched them. No birds, no animals. And when she looked closer, she noticed that the ants that had tried to crawl over the fries were all dead.
And then if you look close, there's a bunch of black ants on them. The black ants are stiff. They're dead. Not even moving. So it seems as if they attempted to eat the fries.
Turns out, McDonald's fries aren't just potatoes, oil, and salt like we think. They're coated with chemicals that keep them looking fresh for days, preventing them from rotting like natural food should. Now, if these fries can't decay or break down, imagine what happens when we eat them. They're one of the unhealthiest fast food items, yet McDonald's serves millions of customers every year. If even insects won't eat them, should we? Also, I came across this comment in the original post. Yeah, Bill Gates. So I did a quick search, and this is what I came up with. What you do with this information is totally up to you.
Not even moving. So it seems as if they attempted to eat the fries.
What is happening here? It looks like it's raining, but the water is red, almost like blood. Could this be blood rain? Well, not exactly. While it looks eerie, this is actually a well-documented phenomenon known as red rain or blood rain. The video was taken on the coast of Sork in Iran, an area known for its rich red soil. When it rains, the water mixes with the fine red dust from the ground, creating an intense blood-like effect on the surface. It may look like something straight out of a horror movie, but it's completely natural. Similar events have been reported in other places around the world, often caused by dust, sand, or even microscopic algae in the atmosphere. Still, it's definitely one of the more unsettling sights nature has to offer. A man went cave exploring when he saw a woman standing at the mouth of the cave. She was dressed entirely in black from head to toe and clutched a strange bundle of books and sticks in her arms. Something about her presence felt unnerving, but before he could process what was happening, she suddenly ran back into the cave. Curious and maybe a little reckless, he chased after her. Deeper inside, she stood at the very end of the cave, staring after him. After a long moment of hesitation, he finally got her to speak, and what she said was even stranger than her appearance. She claimed she was a witch married to a djinn and that this cave was their home. Before he could ask anything else, she vanished into thin air. Then out of nowhere, the entire cave began to shake. Rocks started to fall, and the man ran for his life, barely making it out. Was this truly a witch? Could she have really been the wife of a djinn? Or was it all just an elaborate hoax? Whatever the case, it's safe to say that this man got far more than he bargained for when he entered the cave. Maybe that will teach him not to run after suspicious individuals entering a cave. This could have been much worse. Back in 2015, 2 sharks were released into the ocean after being captured for research. A marine biologist and a shark expert were overseeing the release, expecting the animals to swim freely back into their natural habitat. But when they opened the cage, something strange happened. The sharks refused to leave. They stayed inside the cage as if something was keeping them in there. Within seconds, the team noticed something else was in the water. A dark, unknown creature swam around the cage. Then, without warning, it latched onto one of the sharks. The shark thrashed violently, twisting and turning in the water, trying to shake off whatever had attached itself. Even the experts were completely baffled. They couldn't identify what the creature was, but it was clearly a predator, and it was strong enough to attack a shark. To this day, no one knows exactly what the creature was. A predator that hunts sharks must be incredibly powerful. Could an undiscovered species be lurking in the deep, maybe even entire colonies of them? A mother had left her son home alone with their dog. To keep an eye on him, she had a security camera set up in the house which would check from time to time. But one day, as she was reviewing the footage, she noticed something terrifying. In the corner of the room just past the doorway, something walked across and then disappeared. At first, she thought maybe it was just a trick of the light, but then her son appeared on the other side of the room, walking toward the same doorway with his dog. Here's where it gets even stranger. The mysterious figure looked almost exactly like her son, same height and same build. But as it reached the end of the hallway, it vanished into thin air. The woman was shaken. If her son had been walking from the other direction, who or what was the first figure? Had she unknowingly left her son alone with a ghost? Was there a malevolent being in there with them? I guess we'll have to wait for an update on that one. What you are looking at is not edited footage. This was filmed in India. A goat gave birth to an unusual offspring, and as you can see, its face looks strangely human. Its features are oddly shaped, making it look almost like a hybrid between a goat and a person. Cases like this are usually caused by genetic mutations or developmental defects, and unfortunately, in most situations, these animals don't survive for long. It's a heartbreaking sight, and while some may see it as a scientific anomaly, others might believe it holds a deeper and more mysterious meaning. What do you think? Is this just a rare bird defect, or could something else be at play?
So there was an incident where a piece of ice went through the next door neighbors. The neighbor next door saw the ice fall from the sky.
A resident in Florida called the police and fire department after hearing a loud crashing sound. Some authorities arrived and they discovered a huge dent in the roof of the house.
Fire department, police officers here trying to figure out, obviously it had to have come from a plane.
As they investigated, a neighbor came forward and claimed to have seen what caused the damage. It was a massive block of ice that had fallen from the sky and crashed into the roof. But where did it come from? Some believe it fell from a passing airplane, possibly as frozen waste or leaked water from the aircraft. However, not everyone is convinced by this explanation. Others speculate it could be something more mysterious, maybe even a cover-up for something we aren't supposed to know about. Which do you think is the most likely occurrence?
So there was an incident where a piece of ice went through the next door neighbors. The neighbor next door saw the ice fall from the sky.
resident in Florida called the police and fire department after hearing a loud crashing sound. Some authorities arrived and they discovered a huge dent in the roof of the house. As they investigated, a neighbor came forward and claimed to have seen what caused the damage. It was a massive block of ice that had fallen from the sky and crashed into the roof. But where did it come from? Some believe it fell from a passing airplane, possibly as frozen waste or leaked water from the aircraft. However, not everyone is convinced by this explanation. Others speculate it could be something more mysterious, maybe even a cover-up for something we aren't supposed to know about. Which do you think is the most likely occurrence? This goalkeeper had already broken his nose during the game, but what happened next was even stranger. As he went to blow his nose, his eye instantly puffed up like something had traveled from his nose to his eyelid in a split second. It looked unnatural, almost as if the air had been forced into the wrong place. But believe it or not, this isn't as uncommon as you might think. This happens because of something called orbital emphysema. It's a rare condition when air gets trapped in the soft tissues around the eye due to a fracture in the sinuses. When he blew his nose, the pressure forced air into the space around his eye, causing it to swell up instantly. It looks alarming, but in most cases it goes away on its own as the body slowly absorbs the trapped air. Still, imagine breaking your nose and then suddenly looking like you've been punched in the face just from blowing your nose. I know some of you are tempted to think it's reptilian. I did initially, but looks like this isn't one of those times. This video comes from a home security camera capturing something truly eerie. One evening, the camera recorded a figure dressed in white approaching the house. At first, it looked like a normal person walking into the compound, but then just as the figure got close to the door, it faded into thin air, just vanished. When I first saw this footage, I thought it was just a woman heading home, but the way she gradually disappeared into nothingness is chilling. Is this a glitch in the camera or solid proof of a ghost caught on tape? Most members of my team think so, but like everyone else, that's up for debate. What do you guys also think? This footage was captured back in 2020, and what it shows is truly bizarre. At first glance, it looks like a whitish object lying on the ground, almost like a plastic bag caught in the wind. But then, watch closely as it moves, and not just randomly. This thing moves with an unnatural precision, almost as if it's alive. But what is it? Some believe it's a cryptid yet to be classified. Others think it could be a strange mutated life form. Of course, skeptics argue that it's just an optical illusion, CGI, or a weirdly shaped object reacting to wind currents. Whatever it is, it's unlike anything we have seen before. My money is on CGI and AI though. What about you? What do you think? A man who works at a cabin company that builds and sells cabins had a strange encounter one night while he was alone at one of their locations. The top floor of the building had all its lights turned off and it was completely dark. But then he noticed something strange. On the side windows, there was a flicker of light for just a second. It was so subtle that he took out his phone to zoom in and get a better look, and that's when he saw it. At the window stood a shadowy humanoid figure, completely still, facing his direction. It didn't move, it just stood there, watching. The man felt his stomach drop. He was the only one there, or so he thought. After a moment of hesitation, he gathered his courage and decided to go upstairs to investigate. He searched every room, every corner, but there was nothing. No person, no sign of anyone had ever been there. So what was that figure? A trick of the light, a shadow, or something else?
Help, 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 help. Help me! Help me! Help me! Help me! Get him off of me! Get him off of me! Get him off of me! Ah!
Now, we've seen some strange things, but this might just be one of the strangest. Just pay attention to the woman's leg. You see it, don't you? Her leg is moving in an unusual way and in an unusual direction. She screams for help, and a man who is presumably her husband shows up to help. She was basically asking him to get off. They uploaded the bizarre experience online, and many who saw it told her husband there was a ghost trying to break his wife's leg. Some suggested a cramp, but from the audio of the clip, it's least likely. Others suggest they were faking it, but we'll let you be the judge of that.
Help, 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 help. Help me! Help me! Help me! Help me! Get him off of me! Get him off of me! Get him off of me! Ah!
Who are you talking to?
A woman had lost her brother 2 months ago. It was a devastating loss, especially because her toddler daughter had been very fond of her uncle. One night, while the woman was in the kitchen, she noticed something deeply unsettling. Her daughter was sitting in the high chair, but she wasn't just sitting there. She was talking to someone. The problem is, there was no one else in the room, and then the woman heard what the toddler was saying. The little girl kept repeating the words, "Uncle, no." She sounded like she was interacting with someone as if she was responding to a real person. The mother asked her daughter who she was talking to, but the little girl ignored her and she shushed her as if not wanting to be interrupted. The woman started to believe that her brother's spirit had returned to visit his favorite niece. But what truly convinced her was when she rewatched the security footage. As she watched, she noticed something she hadn't seen before. There was a very faint male voice in the background. It was almost inaudible, but when the woman heard it, her heart stopped. It was her brother's voice. So what do you think? Was this truly her brother's spirit, or was it just a trick of the mind?
Evelyn, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to?
A man was hiking deep in the woods when he stumbled upon something strange. It was a cave entrance covered by a metal mesh gate, almost as if it was designed to keep something inside. But what exactly? The structure looked old and abandoned, yet the reinforced gate suggested it once had a purpose. One comment claimed that these caves were used to hold people until they died back in the 20th century. But if that were true, why are they still standing? And why are they hiding so deep in the woods? This made some skeptical who stated that they believed these caves were once part of an underground bunkers or secret research sites, while others think they were used for containment. But of what, no one knows. All these are theories at this point. If any of you is conversant with the place or has any legit information on it, please share in the comments section. Do you know what a hypnic jerk is? I don't mean to freak anyone out, but I can't be the only one who knows about this. Have you ever been falling asleep only to suddenly jerk awake out of nowhere? It feels like your body just spasms for no reason, right? Well, it's not random at all. This happens because your body is falling asleep faster than your brain, and when that happens, your brain panics. It thinks you're dying, so in response, it sends a jolt through your body to wake you back up. Creepy, right? It's almost like that "let me tell you something" meme.
So you say, I'm gonna go to sleep now, but your brain just says, no, you're not. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
So maybe next time before you sleep, tell your brain that you're not dying, just going to bed. It might help it relax. Some friends went to a river for a swim, but just before they could jump in, they noticed something moving toward them from the other side. At first, it was just a dark, long shape gliding through the water, but as it reached the middle of the river, it suddenly began thrashing violently, splashing water everywhere. Then something surfaced. A massive tail broke through the water, confirming that this was a fish. But not just any fish, this thing was huge. Some believe it could be an arapaima, one of the largest freshwater fishes in the world, known to grow over 10 feet long and weigh hundreds of pounds. Others suspect it could be a giant catfish or even a sturgeon, which are prehistoric-looking fish that can grow to monstrous sizes. But if this was just a fish, why did it behave so aggressively? Also, wouldn't the individual filming know what it was, especially since he's local to the place? Maybe I'm just overthinking this. Let's hear your thoughts. Back in 2012, a strange video surfaced allegedly taken by a man who went beyond the ice wall and captured footage of the moon. Now, here's where things get weird. When you look closely at the moon in the footage, you can see a strange shape on its surface, one that resembles a salamander. But this isn't just some random coincidence. According to a wild conspiracy theory, the moon is actually reflecting the hidden shape of Earth, showing lands and territories that have been kept secret from us. The idea is that the world we know is just a small part of a much bigger reality that extends beyond the so-called ice wall. There's even an old map drawn by the Germans during World War II that supposedly matches the shape of the moon, revealing unknown continents and civilizations beyond what we believe to be the edge of the world. So, is this proof of hidden lands, or just another crazy conspiracy? A lot of people are growing concerned about AI taking over, but should we really be afraid? Think about it. AI is already deeply embedded in our daily lives, from smartphones to search engines, navigation apps, and even medical advancements. It's helping us in ways we never imagined. It can process information faster than any human, and in some cases, even its own creators can't fully measure how quickly it's evolving. Right now, AI seems efficient and incredibly useful, but at the same time, it's quietly slipping into every part of our existence, making decisions, predicting behaviors, and even creating content. That raises an important question. Can we really trust it? It's not just about AI being powerful, it's about who controls it and how it's used. Should we embrace it, knowing it could improve our lives, or should we be cautious, knowing the more we rely on it, the more control we might be giving away? This footage was taken in Peru on February the 9th, 2025. Two people were at the beach during sunset when they noticed something strange in the distance. At first, it just seemed like a dark shape moving on the water, but as they looked closer, they realized that the figure appeared humanoid, as if someone was walking on the surface of the ocean. Now, we all know that humans cannot walk on water, so what exactly are we looking at? Some believe this could be an optical illusion possibly caused by the lighting and the reflecting of the setting sun. Others suggest that this is otherworldly, perhaps a spirit, a cryptid, or even a supernatural entity. There's also the possibility of this being doctored footage, but you've seen it, so what do you think?
Están caminando sobre el agua. ¿Qué fue?
¿Qué es eso?
¿O qué es eso? ¿Un pingüino o un delfín?
A couple had been hearing strange noises coming from their attic. The attic was already a creepy place, so they usually avoided going up there. But one night, the noises got so loud that they decided to check them out. The man held out a stick, cautiously pushing open the attic door while his wife filmed from below. And then it happened. Something popped out. It was a strange-looking face, and the couple freaked out and ran. Later, when they watched the footage again, they got an even better look. The skin looked human, but the eyes were almost reptilian. The irises were dark, but there was hair at the back of its head. They couldn't see much of its body, but whatever it was, it did not look human at all. Was this some kind of lizard person? And if it was, why was it in the man's attic? Did you know that rainbows are not actually arcs, but are full circles? Rainbows are actually full circles, but most of the time we only see an arc because the ground gets in the way. From the ground, our view is limited, so we only catch the top half of the circle. However, if you're high up in a plane or on a tall mountain, you might be lucky enough to see a full circular rainbow in the sky. It's all about how light refracts and reflects inside water droplets, creating that beautiful spectrum of colors. So next time you see a rainbow, just imagine the other half hidden below the horizon. Some friends were out at the beach one night when they noticed something strange. As the waves washed over the shore, parts of the sand and water started to glow blue. They were so excited that they started playing in it. Now, before you think this is some kind of interdimensional energy, this is exactly a natural phenomenon. It's called bioluminescence. It's a rare and breathtaking event caused by tiny microorganisms in the ocean. These organisms, known as dinoflagellates, produce a natural glow when they are disturbed by movement, whether by waves, fish, or even footsteps on the wet sand. The result is a magical glowing shoreline that looks like something from another world. This phenomenon is more common in certain areas, especially in warm coastal waters, but it's still rare enough to be an incredible sight for those lucky enough to witness it. Have you ever seen bioluminescent waves in person? If not, would you want to? This next footage comes from Stockton, California, and has left many people scratching their heads. A resident was sitting outside when he noticed something unusual in the sky. At first, it seemed like just another dark patch of clouds blending almost perfectly into the night. But then something strange happened. The object started blinking. The lights were subtle at first, almost as if they were flickering in and out of existence, but after a few moments they became more distinct, revealing the outline of what looked like a cloaked craft. It was as if whatever was up there was trying to stay hidden, but the flashing lights were giving it away. Some believe it's just an aircraft reflecting city lights, while others think it could be a weather balloon or even a drone. But for those who believe in the unknown, this footage is another piece of evidence suggesting that something far beyond our understanding is flying above us. Speaking of UAPs, let's talk about one of the most intriguing images that surfaced back in 2024 in China. This particular image showed a bizarre cloud formation, one that looked unnaturally smooth, perfectly rounded, and almost metallic in appearance. Unlike typical clouds, which tend to have irregular and wispy edges, this one was flat, symmetrical, and eerily similar to the shape of a flying saucer. As soon as the image hit the internet, it sparked massive debate. Meteorologists and weather experts tried to explain it as a rare lenticular cloud or an optical illusion caused by ice crystals in the atmosphere. But their explanations didn't satisfy everyone. Many people, especially those in the paranormal community, were convinced that this was not a natural cloud at all, but an actual UFO trying to disguise itself. Some even pointed out that similar strange cloud formations have been spotted before major UFO sightings, leading to speculation that these clouds could be a form of cloaking technology used by extraterrestrial crafts. To this day, no one has been able to fully explain what this was, but you've seen the clip as well. Do you have the answers? This video you're looking at is not edited. It's actual drone footage of a lake, but what makes it unusual is its vibrant pink color. While it looks beautiful and surreal, almost like something from another planet, this phenomenon isn't exactly a good thing. The pink hue is caused by an overgrowth of certain microorganisms, mainly algae, bacteria, and archaea, which thrive in highly saline environments. These tiny organisms produce pigments, especially carotenoids, that color the water in shades of pink and red. This phenomenon is sometimes referred to as a pink lake event, and while it may seem like a natural wonder, it's often signaling an imbalance in the ecosystem. This presence of excessive salt, rising temperatures, and pollution can trigger the overgrowth of these microorganisms, sometimes making the lake uninhabitable for fish and other aquatic life. In some cases, the water can even become toxic, releasing harmful chemicals or depleting oxygen levels, which can lead to mass die-offs of marine species. Nature can be stunning, but sometimes its beautiful displays are nothing but warning signs. This bizarre footage comes from a village in Uganda where residents woke up to find something strange on a mango tree. One of the mangoes had what appeared to be a human face. You can clearly see a nose, eyes, and mouth forming on the fruit, and as word spread, the entire community rushed to see it for themselves, snapping pictures and debating what it could mean. In many villages, folklore and spiritual beliefs are taken seriously. Some locals firmly believe that this could have been a person, perhaps someone who was caught stealing and was punished by their ancestral spirits and transformed into the very fruit they tried to take. There are countless legends of people turning into objects, animals, or plants as a form of divine justice. So to them, this isn't just a deformed mango, it's a warning. However, others argue that this is just a natural phenomenon possibly caused by disease, genetic mutation, or even insect damage affecting the fruit's growth. So could this truly be a cursed thief, or is nature simply playing tricks on us? What would you do if you suspected your wife was trying to kill you? Well, this next clip isn't our usual, but it's a classified capture worth sharing. Robbie, the man in question, had a nightly routine. He would prep his coffee in the coffee maker before going to bed, so it was ready to go in the morning. But something strange was happening. As you can see in the footage, his wife Melody would sneak into the kitchen early in the morning, look around suspiciously, grab something from behind the counter, and pour it in the coffee grounds. Typically, Robbie will just mix his coffee with no problem and go about his day. In recent times, however, Robbie had become suspicious. He noticed something off about his coffee. When he cleaned out the coffee maker, he found it was unusually foamy. Sometimes he even smelled bleach coming from it. Since then, he only pretended to drink it, secretly collecting more evidence. This went on for a while, with Robbie playing along to ensure he had enough proof. After he gathered enough evidence, Robbie went to the police. Melody was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Can you imagine living with someone you love only to find out that they're trying to kill you? It's chilling. Thankfully, Robbie's quick thinking and determination helped him uncover the truth and protect himself. It's a good thing he figured it out now before he became a ghost that wouldn't leave his apartment. These are some of the reasons why people are always on edge when the theory of governments hiding things from us comes up. Take a look at this strange footage recorded over Larsen Bay, Alaska. did you see it when the slow-mo came? That was a large, round, planet-like object seen moving in the sky. According to reports, the footage was taken on a live stream, and after it aired, it was quickly taken down by authorities. Many took that to mean that the clip was legitimate. But if the clip is truly legitimate, then just what are we looking at here? Some individuals on the paranormal platform believe it was Nibiru, the mythical rogue planet. Others mention the Death Star straight out of Star Wars. Not everyone is convinced, though. One skeptic suggested it was just a lens flare, an optical illusion caused by the camera. On a normal day, I would jump onto that bandwagon, but the removal of the footage by the FAA only fuels the fire and doubt of all who saw it. Why would they take it down if there was nothing to hide? It's actions like these that make people suspicious and keep conspiracy theories alive. What do you think? Take a look at this unique dog. It has a black, short coat, a slender body, upright long ears, and a long tail. This creature looks like it could be the cousin of a chupacabra, but it's not. This is what we call a Zolliot-Skuntali. It's a type of dog. The Zolliot-Skuntali, often referred to simply as the Zolo or Mexican hairless dog, is a unique and ancient breed with origins dating back over 3,000 years to pre-Columbian times in Mexico. It's one of the world's oldest and rarest breeds. This particular breed holds significant cultural importance in Mexico. In ancient times, they were revered by the Aztecs and other Mesoamerican civilizations and believed to have spiritual significance and even healing powers. They were often depicted in art and mythology and were considered sacred companions, thought to guide the souls of the dead through the underworld. But in today's world, they're raised as pets and are very loyal companions, known for their intelligence, calm demeanor, and affectionate nature. Zolos make excellent pets for those who appreciate their unique appearance. Would you get one? If you're one of those firm believers in conspiracies, this will make you do a double take. While walking through the woods, someone came across this huge structure. The exterior looked like a mountain, but inside it was an entirely different scene. Massive wooden structures were built within the so-called mountain, revealing it as a hollow structure filled with wooden bricks. I never thought I'd say these words in my life, but it's a fake mountain. What could have camouflaged this place as a mountain? What was it used for? Is this even real at all? Well, the answers to these questions are simple. We don't know. Until we have more information, we won't be able to confirm or disprove this. But what do you think? Every single day, we discover something new and fascinating in the natural world. Recently, scientists have identified a new addition to the already vast number of worm species out there. This little guy has some unique and rather intriguing features. One of the most remarkable aspects of this worm is its ability to fold its face into its body. Imagine that. Its face just tucks away neatly, almost like it's hiding a secret. And when it unfolds its face, it reveals something truly unexpected: 2 black claws. These claws are positioned right on its face, giving it an almost menacing appearance. I wonder what those claws are for. They look like they could cause some serious damage, especially if this worm felt threatened or needed to defend itself. I know the bonus segment came earlier, but I want to see those who know their worms on this platform. There's a rather popular species of worms that this looks like. Does any of you know? In fact, they look so alike that many on our platforms feel it's the same worm. I want to hear the thoughts of those who know it as well. A woman was stuck in traffic, tapping her fingers impatiently on the steering wheel. Typical rush hour, she thought. But then something caught her eye in the lane next to her that made her look twice.
I don't even know
what happened. I think the wind took it, but
The car in the other lane wasn't just stuck in traffic, it was stuck in mid-air. It was standing vertically on its back tires, suspended like someone had pressed the pause button in reality. The front of the car pointed straight up toward the sky, defying all logic and gravity. Many who saw this thought it was the final evidence needed to prove that we are indeed living in a simulation where glitches do happen. Others thought it was just a well-edited clip. In my experience, things aren't always what they seem, or do not seem. Either way, what do you guys think? Glitch or lies? Let us know in the comments section.
I don't even know what happened. I think the wind took it, but
There are stories of how ancient floods destroyed advanced civilizations, forcing humans to start anew. These theories often stem from various hieroglyphs found in historical places, from giant structures to portal-like formations. These ancient carvings depict scenes that are both fascinating and puzzling. What do these images mean? It cannot just be imagination if these drawings and paintings show similar things from different parts of the world. Some suggest these depictions are evidence of ancient visitors from other planets, while others argue that they're symbolic representations of natural phenomena or spiritual beliefs. Archaeologists and historians have long debated the meanings behind these drawings. Some believe they represent the technological prowess of ancient civilizations, suggesting that humanity once possessed advanced knowledge and capabilities. The images of crafts and giant humans found in disparate locations around the globe hint at a shared heritage or knowledge. So what do you think? Are these hieroglyphs evidence of a forgotten advanced civilization, or are they merely myth and legend? Speaking of Bigfoot, this elusive creature has been a subject of curiosity for years. The idea of Bigfoot fighting a bull might be thrilling, but it would only be possible if the creature was real. Someone shared this intriguing image online. While he was out in the mountains, he felt like something was staring at him. When he looked back, he saw this creature hiding behind a large rock. The creature was dark, with only its head sticking out from behind the rock. It didn't look human and had an animalistic appearance, which led him to believe it was Bigfoot. The footage has sparked a heated debate. On one hand, believers see this as compelling evidence that Bigfoot exists and is out hiding in remote areas. On the other hand, skeptics argue that this could easily be a hoax. The figure might be a person in a costume or simply a play of shadows and light, creating an illusion of a creature. With today's technology, editing and creating such videos has become easier, leading many to doubt the authenticity of such sightings. So what do you think? Is this proof that the elusive Bigfoot is indeed real and hiding out there, or is it all just a hoax fueled by someone's wild imagination? Share your thoughts and theories. Someone captured this bizarre sight from across the street, a long pinkish creature sticking out of a hole in the wall. The creature's appearance is strange and unsettling. It looks like a type of tongue or tentacle, but it has a smoother texture, almost like it's covered in some sort of shiny synthetic material. As you watch the footage, you can't help but notice the way it moves. The motion is almost too smooth and too fluid, giving it an unnatural, eerie quality. The creature wriggles and undulates in a way that seems more like something you'd see in a special effects movie than in real life. This brings up an interesting question. Is this creature real, or is it a product of CGI? While the previous script might have been scary, this next one would have you scratching your head. As you can see, it's a night out on the streets. Everyone appears to be having fun, with people cheering and laughing. A man was recording the whole thing, and he ended up recording more than he had initially planned. While reviewing the footage, he noticed something rather bizarre occurring that evening. A man suddenly emerged from between two moving trucks in the middle of the road. He just nonchalantly walked off the road like nothing had happened, completely unfazed. It was as if he'd appeared out of thin air. The craziest part is that the person filming didn't notice this at the time, since he seemingly blended in with everyone and everything happening. This mysterious appearance had raised all sorts of speculations. Could this be evidence of time travelers living among us, just moved through time to get there? Or is there a better explanation for it? Share your thoughts. Someone allegedly came across this unsettling sight deep in the woods, a massive, otherworldly creature moving on all fours. This entity, with its bark-like texture and towering frame, seemed like it had sprung from a dark fairy tale. I've watched the clip over and over, and that's the best description I could come up with. Is it real, though? My video editor doesn't think so. He believes that whatever that is was created digitally on the PC. He mentions a bunch of things like the frame rate of the object not matching the rest of the clip, as well as color grading and other factors. I don't fully understand it, but I trust Ike, and before you come asking, Ike is the name of the video editor. Why would someone try to mislead us? Hard to tell, but what do you guys think? Is my video editor right, or has any of you encountered a creature that looks like this? A man had been hearing strange noises coming from one of the rooms in his house. He searched everywhere but couldn't find the source of the noise until he stumbled upon a strange structure in one of the rooms. Inside it, a pair of eyes stared back at him. It looked like an owl, but the situation was bizarre. The structure was a hollow pole made of foil, which looked like a good place for a nest. But how did it manage to get inside a house and into that? No one can tell, but I know we will be glad to finally find out. I know I mentioned owl, but what do you think this is? Share your thoughts in the comments section. In this next clip, a man takes out a small black stone and places it on his glass counter. Suddenly, the stone starts to vibrate vigorously. It's quite a sight. When you look around, it seems the shop is a place that sells pearls, stones, and what looks like beads. Now, we know information on where this particular black stone is from, but the bigger question is, how and why is it vibrating like this? It's fascinating to think about. What kind of stone behaves this way? Is there something special about its composition, or is there an unseen force at work? Some people speculate that it's a trick, or that there's something hidden under the counter causing the vibration. Others wonder if the stone has some unique properties or energy that we don't fully understand. What do you think? Is there a scientific explanation for the vibrating stone, or could it be something more mysterious? A man was out at American Fork Canyon when he saw something moving among the trees. At first, he thought it was a moose or an elk, but as he got closer and took a better look, he realized something was off. As soon as he noticed it, he took off running, and you can see it all in the footage. Let's zoom in and take a closer look at the creature. Right there, standing on two legs, almost cloaked by the dense forest, you can see the outline of a hairy creature. That's no moose or elk. It's very obvious what we're looking at here. A Bigfoot. The creature is upright, with a distinct humanoid shape covered in thick fur. The way it moves and stands is unlike any known animal in the area. Imagine being in his shoes, out for a peaceful hike and suddenly spotting this mysterious figure. Your heart would start racing, and you'd probably question if your eyes were playing tricks on you. But the footage doesn't lie. There's something there. People have been reporting sightings of Bigfoot for decades, and yet each new piece of evidence brings fresh excitement and skepticism. Is this the proof we've been waiting for, or is this just another hoax?
Now, when it comes to the solar system or even the universe in general, it's a well-established fact that we have just one sun. However, during a mesmerizing sunset view, someone captured something utterly shocking. In the sky, alongside the familiar glow of our sun, there were two additional suns visible, one on the far left and the other on the far right. This bewildering sight left many scratching their heads and questioning the laws of nature. How could there be two suns? Some suggested it might be a glitch in the camera or the result of unusual atmospheric conditions. Others pondered more fantastical explanations, invoking the possibility of parallel dimensions or extraterrestrial phenomenon. But amidst the uncertainty, one thing remained clear. This was an extraordinary sight that defied conventional understanding. What do you think might explain the presence of these twin suns in the sky? Let us know in the comments section. A new Turkish surgery procedure is causing a lot of buzz online. A man who underwent the procedure appears to look like 2 or 3 decades younger. This transformation is so dramatic that some people believe it's not the same person. Others think it might be a father and son duo. The before and after photos are astounding, showing a significant reduction in wrinkles, age spots, and sagging skin. Would you be willing to try out a procedure to look decades younger? Also, what do you think? Same person, or is someone trying to pull a fast one on us? It's a mix of fascination and terror when the unknown lurks in the depths of the woods. A person strolling through the trees suddenly notices a pair of glowing eyes fixated on them from the shadows. Intrigued and cautious, they decide to capture the mysterious watcher with their camera. As the lens focuses, a large creature with dark fur comes into view, peering directly at the camera. Concealed within a thicket of trees, it's challenging to discern its features. However, the creature's massive shoulders hint at its substantial size. The face remains mysterious, sparking speculation among onlookers. Some suggest it might be a dogman, a creature of folklore and myth, while others lean toward a more mundane explanation, proposing it could be a lost gorilla roaming the wilderness. What do you think it is? Have you heard of the Dyatlov Pass incident? Back in 1959, a group of tourists mysteriously vanished while hiking in the Ural Mountains in Russia. When a search party finally located them, their bodies were found scattered across the area under chilling circumstances, with injuries that have baffled investigators to this day. What's even more unsettling is that footage retrieved from the tourists' belongings contained a particular image, one that some believe shows a large humanoid figure lurking in the background. Fast forward to years later, another piece of footage emerged filmed in the same region, capturing a similar creature. Many now speculate that this creature could have been a Bigfoot-like cryptid, and some even believe it was responsible for the deaths of the hikers. Could this creature truly have been linked to the eerie fate of the Dyatlov group, or is it just another mystery lost to time? Have you seen this? The world's first bioprocessor uses 16 human brain organoids for 1 million times less power consumption than a digital chip. What does this mean? Well, for starters, this bioprocessor is like a computer chip, but is made of human brain tissue made from a lab that had 16 brain organoids. These organoids are connected to communication channels known as electrodes, and through that, they process data. But unlike computer chips, this bioprocessor uses less power, in fact, 1 million times less. For now, they last for 100 days. If we know anything about scientists, it's that this wouldn't cut it. I know it's exciting, but it gives me Matrix vibes and has me a little worried and on edge. See what we're able to do with our current processors. Imagine what these could do once they are working optimally. As exciting as that can be, I have one fear. What if we lose control? What if these things evolve beyond us? What then happens to us? You know what? Let's not go there. I wouldn't want to seem like the pessimistic one, but think about it. Did you know each human sperm cell packs about 37.5 megabyte of data? That's like a tiny biological USB stick. Considering the average ejaculation contains around 450 million sperm, that's a whopping 16 terabyte of data, enough to fill numerous hard drives. Each sperm carries half the genetic information needed to create a new human. When DNA sequences are digitalized, each sperm's DNA equates to 37.5 megabyte. Multiply that by 450 million and you get an impressive 16 terabyte of genetic information. This fact raises intriguing questions about the potential of biological data storage and the future of bioinformatics. Perhaps men ought to be conservative about their sperm and not waste it, if you know what I mean. A man was passing by a field when something caught his eye. Something odd. The horses in the field were just standing there completely still. At first, he didn't think much of it, but as he continued to watch, they remained frozen in place for far longer than would seem natural. It looked so unreal, like time itself had paused around them. The horses were in the same positions, unmoving, almost like a scene from a movie where the characters were caught in a glitch. It felt eerily like a glitch in the Matrix. What do you think? We've seen aliens before, and this clip is no different. In the clip, we see what looks like a grey alien exploring our lands. A few seconds in, and we see its ship among others. A few years ago, this would have been very exciting, but today many who saw this clip believe it's just AI generated. I'm not saying every alien clip is AI generated, but there's something about this one we just can't seem to shake off. We looked at it several times, and even Aaron is starting to think this particular one is AI generated. You've seen the clip for yourselves. What do you think? This next clip was shared online by a Russian hiker, and it shows an intriguing encounter in the woods. While hiking, he noticed a creature walking ahead of him. The creature had brown fur, stood about 8 to 9 feet tall, and had long arms that extended slightly below the knees. As it took long strides, its arms swung in a relaxed manner, seemingly unaware of the man observing it. The hiker, keeping a safe distance, managed to capture several minutes of this encounter on his phone. The creature's movements were fluid and natural, adding to the authenticity of the sighting. The video quickly went viral, drawing attention from Bigfoot enthusiasts and skeptics alike. We all know what this creature is believed to be, a Bigfoot. Of all the footage I've seen, this seems like one of the closest glimpses of the creature. But what do you think? Could this be genuine footage of the elusive Bigfoot, or is it just another hoax? If you've been with us for a while, then you've probably seen some of the strange finds on Google Maps and Google Earth. Although we've seen and reported on a number of these finds, this next one takes the trump card. A man uploaded this clip, and in it we see him going through the app until he settles on a location. He zooms in to reveal a strange landmark, which turns out to be some secret hidden facility. After some clicks, we're introduced to a nighttime view where we see the facility in its full glory. Not only that, but we also see a machine shooting a laser into the sky. This is highly unusual and strange. Without having answers of his own, the individual posted this in the paranormal community, hoping someone could help him. We don't fully understand what's going on, but some in the community think this might be a secret research facility. Others think the USA might be using this device to try and break the sky, which brings about the firmament theory. But without going into all that, what do you guys think is going on here? Do you think that's truly a facility out there doing this, or is this an elaborate hoax designed to mislead us? Kindly share your thoughts in the comments section, as we'd really love to know.
Bueno, pues ya nos quedamos un rato aquí esperando y efectivamente se empieza a escuchar como si viniera de acá, de lo lejos, y no se ve nada, o sea, no hay nada, no viene nada, y se escucha.
In Santa Rosa, there's a fascinating phenomenon known as the ghost train. Over the years, many have claimed to have witnessed it, and curious thrill seekers often visit the area to experience it firsthand. It's said that at exactly 10 p.m., if you're near the tracks, you'll hear the unmistakable sounds of a train passing by, its horn blaring and wheels screeching against the rails. Yet, when you look, there's no physical train in sight. This woman decided to test this eerie claim and captured something astonishing. In her footage, you can clearly hear the train sounds, but when you look closely, it's as if an invisible train is moving through the area, its presence hinted at by subtle disturbances and eerie reflections. This phenomenon is both chilling and intriguing. Is it the residual energy of a train that once traveled these tracks, or could it be an echo of the past playing on a loop in time? Have you ever experienced something like this? And if you've been to Santa Rosa, did you witness the ghost train yourself?
Se escucha. Creí que era mentira, a ver, veamos, yo creo que no hay nada, no hay nada.
Whoa.
What is that?
Here we have a peculiar sighting captured by a resident in the middle of the night. The footage shows an oddly shaped object in the sky. What makes this sight especially bizarre is the object doesn't appear tangible. It looks more like a beam of light shaped like some sort of missile or elongated form, though it's hard to define exactly what it is. What stands out is the pulsing light within it, giving the impression of energy moving or shifting within the structure. It's difficult to determine if this is a solid object or some kind of energy phenomenon. Some suggest it could be a plasma formation, an unidentified aerial phenomenon, or UAP for short, or even some kind of experimental technology. But what do you think this could be?
The Whoa.
What is that?
Next up, we've got this clip that's left many in the paranormal community puzzled. Take a look. Tell me you saw the shadow move. Just in case you were distracted by the beautiful damsel in the first take, move your eyes to the right of the screen. There's even an arrow to make it easier. Something moves in those shadows that has this ghostly, ethereal feel to it. It's almost as though it were waiting for the lady to leave, so it moves. And the room the lady came from appears to be its target. It does appear to be humanoid, albeit a little smaller than the lady. I know that you're wondering what that is, and this is usually the part where I tell you what it is, but today I simply don't have the answers. In other words, I don't know what that is. It might be a ghost, it might be something else. One thing I'm certain of, though, is that I would love to hear your thoughts. Care to share yours in the comments section? In Weeki Wachee, Florida, a family woke up to a terrifying sight. A massive sinkhole just a few meters from their home. Look at that. The sinkhole is said to be the least 50 feet deep and almost feels surreal to imagine. But as shocking as it looks, it's not entirely unexpected. You see, Florida sits on aquifers. These are underground layers of water. When the water drains, the ground above can easily collapse, creating sinkholes. Another factor is that Florida's land is mostly made up of limestone, which dissolves over time, especially if the water in the soil becomes acidic. Over time, these conditions can lead to dramatic events like this. So while it looks like something out of a movie, it's actually a combination of natural processes that caused it. But it's still shocking to wake up one morning to find a sinkhole in your front yard. Your idea of walking stick might change when you see the next clip I've got to show you. Yup, that's a walking stick, an actual fully grown stick or branch or branches of a tree walking. As much as I would love to see this and interact with this, I do not need to be science whiz to know this clip is certainly doctored. Everything about it screams edited, and the fact that we don't get to see it in full frame and the right part is cut off validates this assumption of mine. But what do you guys think, though? Have you ever seen a stick walking, or is this just someone attempting to have their 5 minutes of fame? Have you ever seen the end of a rainbow? No? Well, watch this clip.
It's hitting us!
Yep, it does look like the end of a rainbow, doesn't it? Does such a thing exist, though? Julius had answered this question for us before, and I just forgot the answer. Rather than go back to him to explain again, I decided to ask GPT for help, and GPT had a lot to say. According to ChatGPT, clips showing people appearing near the end of a rainbow are fascinating but can be explained by the way rainbows work. These instances usually occur when the observer is close to the mist or water droplets, creating rainbows such as near a waterfall or fountain or during light rain. In these cases, the rainbow might appear to touch the ground or seem within reach, giving the illusion of standing near its end. When we look at the clip, it looks like they might be near a waterfall, as we can hear water crashing into what they're filming from a height. If that's true, then there's no real end of a rainbow. That's a bummer when you think about it.
It's hitting us!
This next one is a clip we featured before, but the previous clip was never the full thing. I got the enhanced version. Enjoy. Just in case this is your first time watching this on our channel, it was recorded by a man who looked out of his window one day and saw a strange being sitting on a tree in his yard. Now, what was perplexing to him was the fact that in relation to the creature's size, the tree was quite high. He's not sure how the creature got there or why it was there in the first place. In fact, the whole thing was bizarre, and scared and a little worried, he left it alone, and when he came back later, it was gone. Freaky, right? I know I've asked this before, but does anyone know what this is? Many in the paranormal community think it's a harpy, though, but I'd love to hear from you. While you decide if that's genuine or not, you may want to include the next clip as well. This clip has been circulating online lately, and the one who uploaded it insists it's a baby Bigfoot. The image was allegedly captured by hunters who saw the being while they were tracking and hunting a deer. The deer in question appears in the image as well. Despite the context and narrative surrounding this, a significant number of individuals in the paranormal community believe this is nothing more than a hoax. Some even argued that the image had circulated a few months earlier as a different being. Now, I'm all for conspiracies and whatnot, but I'm also for truth and transparency. You've seen the clip yourself. What's your final verdict? While we may not fully understand or communicate with animals, it's clear that they are far from clueless, and this footage is proof. A woman captured a fascinating moment when a magpie demonstrated remarkable intelligence and ingenuity. The bird was interacting with a small fire on the jungle ground. The magpie would peck at the fire, picking up embers or small flames with its beak, then carefully using the heat to burn fleas and insects from its feathers. It was as though the bird had discovered a natural tool to solve the problem. This incredible moment serves as a reminder of how animals often exhibit intelligence in ways we might not expect. This footage captured by a passerby shows a strange orange glow in the sky, almost as if it's revealing or mapping out something, perhaps something cloaked. The glow appears to be an outline or a shape, causing quite a stir. Some people are dismissing it as a hoax, but others, like Aaron, suggest it could be a cloaked craft in the process of either decloaking or malfunctioning. The idea of cloaking technology has always intrigued those interested in UFOs and other explained phenomena, so it's not surprising that some would lean toward that explanation. Others, though, are suggesting it might be a glitch in the matrix, a term often used to describe reality-bending anomalies that don't seem to fit our understanding of the world. Could this be evidence of advanced technology, or is there a more grounded explanation for the glow? A plane flying over the Atlantic captured some truly bizarre images. What you're seeing is a mysterious red glow, almost like flames lighting up the dark ocean. These images have sparked all kinds of theories, because what could possibly create such a fiery appearance in the middle of the Atlantic? Some think it could be volcanic activity under the ocean, with lava heating the water and creating that eerie red light. While this idea has some grounding, the region the plane was flying over wasn't near known volcanic zones. Others have suggested it might be something less natural, like lights from a deep-sea fishing boats, but that wouldn't usually create such an intense fiery effect. There's also the question of whether this could be a reflection of something atmospheric, a phenomenon we don't yet understand. What do you think it could be?
What is that?
Super people. Maldakian. Might be the super people, Maldakian. It's holding its position straight up and down.
It's one straight up and down and staying that way.
This footage comes from Sequoia National Park, where visitors noticed something truly peculiar floating in the sky. The object appeared to have a humanoid shape, glowing with an otherworldly light. What's even stranger is that it seemed to be slowly rotating, with its arms outstretched and one leg visible. The figure remained suspended in the sky, motionless. Many are speculating this is an alien being casually hovering above Earth, or perhaps a new type of drone or experimental technology. Whatever it is, the eerie glow and unusual shape makes it difficult to explain away. What do you think this strange entity could be?
What is that?
Super people. Maldakian. Might be the super people, Maldakian. It's holding its position straight up and down.
It's one straight up and down and staying that way.
This eerie footage comes straight out of Jaipur, where a burning car on the streets has left people stunned. The passengers had already been rescued, leaving the car engulfed in flames. But then something chilling happens. The blazing car starts moving on its own. It rolls steadily down the street as though someone were behind the wheel, flames roaring all the while. The sight sent people running for cover and nearby vehicles scrambling to clear the path. What's even stranger is how controlled its movement seemed, almost deliberate, before it finally came to a halt. Locals have since dubbed it the haunted burning car. But was it really haunted, or could there be a more grounded explanation? Could the heat have affected the gears, or did gravity play a role? Still, the way it moved so steadily makes you wonder. Rainbows are typically seen after rain, and most of us recognize their familiar arc shape. But what happens when a rainbow doesn't follow the usual form? Someone recently captured a strange bright patch of colors in the sky that doesn't resemble the traditional rainbow at all. It's colorful and beautiful, but entirely different from what we're used to seeing. This could be a phenomenon known as circumhorizontal arc or fire rainbow, which occurs when sunlight passes through ice crystals in high-altitude clouds, creating a vibrant light display. However, the shape and intensity of this spectacle make you wonder if there's more to it. Perhaps this is a mysterious or fantastical element that it has, but what do you think? This was allegedly captured somewhere in Russia, and it's got the paranormal community talking. The clip initially starts off as an ordinary clip taken by someone out at sea. A few seconds in, and then you notice what looks like a portal. But that's not possible, right? I mean, portals aren't real, are they? Well, if this video is to be believed, that might just be what we're looking at. There are others who thought otherwise, though. They believed that this could be either fog around the sun or an outline around it. I get where they're coming from, but those descriptions don't seem accurate now, do they? Anyway, share your thoughts on what this might be. A man was out fishing in calm waters when his line suddenly snagged onto something big. Excited, he began reeling it in, but midway through, whatever was on the other end started to thrash violently, causing a stir in the water. As he kept pulling, the creature's lower half emerged briefly from the surface. What he hooked was not your average fish. It looked like a massive catfish. The sheer size of this creature was jaw-dropping, far larger than what you'd expect from the usual catch. The struggle continued as the beast aggressively wiggled, resisting the incredible force. We don't get to see the final thing, but what do you think this is?
Really hard to see. It's all clouds too.
There's a lot of talk about conspiracies surrounding secret agencies allegedly creating artificial weather like fake suns, clouds, and even rain. Let's examine this footage. A man noticed an unusual patch of cloud hovering over a body of water. At first glance, the cloud seems suspiciously low, much closer to the water's surface than typical clouds. Then something remarkable occurred. From the side of the cloud, there appeared to be an emission of more clouds, almost as if the original cloud was actively producing additional ones, making it grow in size. Could this be a naturally occurring phenomenon like mist or fog interacting with atmospheric conditions, or are we looking at evidence of weather manipulation? Aaron thinks it's a UFO, but let's hear your thoughts on it too.
Really hard to see. It's all clouds too.
While you guys share your thoughts on that, prepare to share your thoughts on this clip recorded in Mexico as well. So the clip opens up with a couple of lights in the sky that appear to be moving and changing shapes. The light starts off being red, then slowly transforms to green before switching to white. All these happen while the lights appear to be moving and changing shape. The individual who is recording this appears to have been on a date and is very confused. I mean, who wouldn't be? After a few seconds, the lights move away and eventually descend. Once this was uploaded online, the paranormal community almost unanimously agreed that we're dealing with a UFO, probably a mothership. Many said the lights we are seeing could have been around its engine or even thrusters, which is why they were changing shape ever so often. The community believes the ship may have also landed in Mexico, which is why it kept descending till it was out of sight. That does sound like an elaborate and detailed hypothesis, but that can also only be true if the clip is genuine. So what do you think? Is this the real deal, or were there red flags you simply can't ignore? A strange home surveillance video from Ecuador has surfaced showing what some believe to be a miniature creature caught in a scuffle with the family's cat. In the footage, the cat grabs the creature by its leg and shakes it violently, clearly agitated. Despite the attack, the tiny creature manages to free itself and quickly flees the scene. Some locals claim that the creature was a duende. According to folklore, cats have an innate intolerance for duendes, often attacking them on sight. Whether it was truly a duende or something else, the incident has certainly sparked curiosity and fueled more speculation about these mysterious beings. What do you think? Could this really be a duende, or is there another explanation? Watch this clip for a few seconds and you tell me what's wrong with it. Have you noticed it yet? If you have, kindly type it in the comments section. If you haven't been paying attention to the head of the passenger behind the bike, do you see it? There's actually no head. That's not possible, right? Well, that's what the writer thought, and that's why he began filming. If it was a trick of the light, the head would at least have become visible at some points before going invisible again, but that's not what we see here. The last time I saw a headless person riding, it was nearly Headless Nick from the Harry Potter series. We have an explanation for that one, though. It was not real, it's a movie. So how do we reconcile what you're seeing currently? Anyone care to help?
What is that? It's over there.
This footage, captured years ago, has left many viewers amazed and perplexed. A woman and a partner were inside a lift, seemingly enjoying a day out, taking pictures and videos of the surrounding skyscrapers. Everything appeared normal until their camera panned toward one of the towering buildings, inadvertently capturing something extraordinary. A flat, disc-like craft appeared in the frame, hovering near the building. In just a few seconds, it zipped across their view at incredible speed, moving from one side of the skyline to the other, faster than anything we know in modern aviation. Finally, it disappeared entirely, vanishing into the distance. This footage has been hailed by many as one of the most compelling pieces of UFO evidence ever captured. The speed, agility, and lack of visible propulsion systems suggests something far beyond our current technological capabilities. What do you think?
What is that? It's over there.
While you share your thoughts on that, have you ever wondered what your cat thinks of you? Well, this next clip might just hold the answer. So according to this clip that has gone viral since its upload, some scientists have managed to reconstruct what a cat makes of the visual stimuli it sees. When they applied the tech to cats seeing humans, the results were, well, interesting. The clip shows the input or original stimuli on the left and then the cat's vision or interpretation of the stimuli on the right. So we have the input and then the output. Do you see the differences? Naturally, this led to a plethora of responses online. While some were excited about the whole thing, others were very skeptical. Personally, I believe that if tech like this existed, it would be mainstream, as its applications in various sectors, especially health, would be endless. But then again, that's just me. What do you guys think? Back in August, a Tennessee resident shared some eerie footage that has left people wondering. The man said he was just hanging out on his porch one night with a friend when suddenly everything lit up out of nowhere. The footage captured by security cameras doesn't show the sky, unfortunately, but you can see the surroundings light up, almost like something was moving across the area. According to the witness, it was a massive ball of light that appeared and moved across the sky. Despite the lack of other reports or footage, this clip feels genuine. So what could it be? A UFO sighting? Or maybe just an unusual weather phenomenon? What's your take? Here we have another piece of remarkably clear footage of a UFO reportedly captured in Mexico. The craft is distinctly disc-shaped with lights running around its perimeter. What makes this footage even more intriguing is what happens next. After hovering for a while, the craft begins to emit beams of light down on the ground, blinking on and off in an almost rhythmic pattern. Its shiny, reflective exterior is visible. Could this be the long-awaited evidence of extraterrestrial technology, or could it be an elaborate hoax with advanced CGI? What do you think?
Jesus, fuck, watch out.
A man's dashcam captured something truly bizarre while he was driving. The footage shows a white car in front of him taking a left turn when out of nowhere, this happened. A black car suddenly appeared and collided with the white car, completely wrecking its hood. Take a closer look at the footage. There's no sign of the black car anywhere beforehand, and then in just a few seconds, it materializes and crashes into the white car. What could be going on here? Is this some kind of ghost car? Could it be a glitch in reality, a phenomenon tied to a parallel universe, or simply a trick of perception caused by an unseen angle in the footage? What are your thoughts on it?
Jesus, fuck, watch out.
A passerby in an unknown location caught something on camera that left everyone scratching their heads. It was a silhouette of what looked like a person floating down from the sky. It wasn't like a regular landing, though. It gently touched down on the side of a building, holding on with one hand like it was no big deal. But here's where it gets even weirder. On the other hand, it started making strange, deliberate movements, almost like it was controlling something. Above it, this odd object hovered in the air, following the figure's every movement. It's hard to make sense of this. Was it some kind of high-tech stunt, or maybe something more mysterious? Watching the footage, it's easy to feel a little unsettled. What do you think? Next, we visit the woods where a strategically positioned trail camera has captured something rather interesting. Take a look. Who does that look like? The big guy himself, right? If the original post is to be believed, then this is definitely one of the clearest clips we've had of Bigfoot. The individual didn't give us a lot of context or information, so we don't know where this was captured, only that it was captured this year. While some in the community are excited about the capture, there are some who feel the whole thing is a hoax and could have been generated with AI. While I get the concerns, if this is truly real, then it's safe to say that Bigfoot is basically more human-like with fur than that of an ape. Anyway, what do you guys also think?
What the hell is that? Did you see that?
It's going around.
Next, we've got this clip from a man who captured something strange in the sky during sundown. Among the clouds was a mysterious, perfectly round object glowing with an intense luminous orange light. The sphere seemed to hover in the blue sky, its brilliance standing out against the fading sunlight. It wasn't the sun, as sunset was happening on the horizon, nor could it be the moon due to its size and color. What could this glowing sphere be? Could it be a rare atmospheric phenomenon like ball lightning or sundog? Or could it be something entirely different, possibly even unexplained? What are your thoughts on this?
What the hell is that? Did you see that?
It's going around.
A woman shared a chilling post on social media, accompanied by images of a bizarre discovery she made in the woods. Hanging from a tree branch, she spotted what appeared to be the dried remains of a small chicken. The head was perched on the branch while the rest of the body dangled below. A peculiar figure measured about 5 inches in length. So she took several pictures and then set a camera down to get a closer look. But when she turned back, the strange thing had vanished without a trace. To make things even stranger, she revealed that upon closer inspection, it wasn't a bird at all. The figure was constructed from tree bark and twigs, yet its eerie resemblance to a chicken was uncanny. This raises unsettling questions. Was it some sort of ritual object or voodoo doll meant to convey a sinister message? Or could it have been an elaborate prank or even a natural phenomenon with an eerie twist? What do you think this could have been, and how did it disappear so suddenly? Sea monsters and ancient giant serpents have always sparked heated debates. Some people believe these tales to be true, while others dismiss them as myths, but every so often, something surfaces that reignites the mystery. Take a look at this drone footage captured over a lake. The owner of the footage was simply trying to film the landscape when something unexpected happened. In the water, there was this enormous creature moving beneath the surface. Its long body caused massive waves as it swam, making it clear this was no regular fish. What kind of creature could cause such a disturbance? Could it be a modern-day sea serpent, or perhaps some undiscovered species lurking in our waters? Have you ever had one of those heart-pounding near-death moments? Well, check this out. Security footage captured a scene that will give you chills. A person casually walking into a store, and just as they close the door behind them, a metal slab comes flying straight into the door, smashing against it with force. It all happened in a split second. If they had been even a step slower, it could have been a disaster. A split-second delay could have had him split. I just had to. Speaking of clouds, would you believe me if I told you it once rained on our planet for at least 1 million years? Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, it actually did happen and was known as the Carnian Pluvial Event. It occurred 232 to 234 million years ago during the late Triassic, a period of intense and prolonged rainfall lasting 1 to 2 million years, triggered by massive volcanic eruptions in modern-day Alaska and British Columbia. These eruptions released vast amounts of greenhouse gases, warming the planet and intensifying monsoon conditions. The resulting environmental upheaval caused mass extinctions, particularly among marine species and early reptiles, while reshaping ecosystems. However, this catastrophic event also created opportunities for new life forms, paving the way for the rise of dinosaurs, modern conifers, and other terrestrial species, fundamentally transforming Earth's biodiversity. What would happen if this happened in our day? Well, it would cause catastrophic flooding, mass extinctions, and global ecosystem collapse. Massive volcanic eruptions would accelerate warming, disrupt weather patterns, destroy habitats, and deplete ocean oxygen, devastating marine life. Human infrastructure, agriculture, and public health would face unprecedented challenges, straining resources and forcing mass migrations. It may even lead to extinction, but that's enough hypothesizing for today. We all don't want a future where the Earth's flooded. Well, let's move on to the next clip. Moving back to the subject of unidentified flying objects, what do you think this is? The individual who uploaded this on our paranormal platform did not include the location of the filming, but, according to him, they didn't look like human crafts. By the time they could get their camera out to record, whatever these things were already too far away. They sought answers from the Air Force, and they were told that it was a visiting unit. They also added that they were typically drop flares during their exercises over water. If you compare the second shot showing on your right currently, you'll notice that the flares they deployed during their exercises are slightly different from the ones we see in our original footage. Am I just seeing things, or do we really have a reason to doubt the information from the Air Force? I'll leave you to decide that. A man had been hearing strange noises coming from an old shed on his property for days, and naturally his curiosity got the better of him. So he grabbed his camera and went to investigate. While recording, he walks around the shed trying to pinpoint where the noise is coming from, and that's when he stumbles upon something unexpected. Inside a container, nestled away, is a creature. At first glance, it's hard to tell what it is, but as he gets closer, it turns out to be an anteater. Oh, what a relief, right? For all the strange and mysterious things it could have been, it was just a harmless anteater hiding out in his shed. Next up, we've got a sighting that's left hundreds in awe. Take a look. At first glance, this does look like an everyday cloud with no distinct features, but after a few seconds, however, we notice something odd. A face begins to form. Now, whenever we talk about a giant face in the clouds, an omnipotent being comes to mind. Depending on the religion of the one observing, we may hear different names. The one who uploaded this clip thought the face looked a lot like Zeus. If you try hard enough, you'll notice a nose, jawline, and possibly a beard. Now, when you consider the fact that these clouds came up around the time of a storm was expected, then attributing the face of Zeus doesn't seem so crazy anymore. Since we're speaking of Zeus, am I crazy to think there's another face that could be Poseidon? Maybe I'm just overstretching here. You know what? Maybe I am, but let's move on to the next clip. Tucker Carlson recently shared a chilling account that has left many talking. He claims to have been attacked by a demon in the middle of the night, describing it as an unseen force that left claw marks on his body. Stories like these aren't new. Across the world, various cultures have long spoken of malevolent entities or demonic forces that interact with humans. Some dismiss these encounters as sleep paralysis or psychological phenomenon, but others believe they're evidence of something beyond our understanding. What's striking is that Tucker Carlson is a well-known public figure, which makes his account somewhat credible. Could there really be unseen forces at work, or is there another explanation for these mysterious events? It's been a while since we've seen footage claiming to capture a Matrix glitch, but take a look at this one. A family was out for a drive when they noticed something bizarre in the sky above a tall building. It was an airplane, but it wasn't moving. The craft was completely frozen in mid-air as if suspended in time. Even as the family drove beneath it and continued past, the plane remained stationary in the sky, not showing any signs of motion. What could explain this strange phenomenon? Is it truly a Matrix glitch, or could it be an optical illusion, a rare atmospheric condition, or something else entirely? What's your take on this?
Hello? Hey, no, stay there. Hey. Oh my God. Dude. It's okay. It's okay.
The man behind this camera had woken up in the middle of the night to the sound of his dog barking in the living room. Concerned, he got out of bed to check it out, but what he found was unsettling. There, sitting on his couch, was someone, a figure in the dim light. But here's the thing, he lives alone. No one else should have been in his house. So who or what was that? The man panicked. You could even hear it in his voice as he called out to the figure. The figure didn't respond. Instead, it slowly stood up and began walking toward him. It moved closer until suddenly, without any warning, the person just vanished into thin air just like that. Gone. I would have freaked out, but the man kept his cool. Maybe this sight is the first time he's seen strange things like this in his house, but still, it's very unsettling. What would you have done in this situation?
Hello? Hey, no. No, stay there. Hey. Oh my God. Dude. It's okay. It's okay.
There have been numerous reports of strange and puzzling weather phenomena lately, and these clips are a prime example. The first clip was recorded in Saskatchewan. It shows a massive, thick cloud of smoke that appears almost solid due to its density. Some have speculated it might be from a nearby volcano, but it's unclear if there are even any volcanoes in that region. The mystery deepens as no one can pinpoint the source of the smoke. The second clip comes from a resident in Washington state. She stepped out of her house to witness an unsettling sight. A large murder of crows circling a particular area in the sky. The birds seem fixated on one spot, and no one has been able to explain what might have drawn them there. Finally, the last clip is from Chicago, where a resident noticed something unusual in the sky. The clouds were swirling in a spiral almost resembling the formation of a tornado. But despite the ominous movement, the formation never touched the ground, leaving viewers puzzled. The phenomenon didn't seem to follow typical weather patterns, making it all the more questionable. So what could these strange weather occurrences mean? Are we witnessing something unusual happening in the natural world? Here we have some intriguing footage captured by a hiker in the woods. While exploring, the hiker began taking pictures and videos of the surrounding area. As he was panning the camera, he noticed something unusual. A large dog-furred creature appeared to be trying to hide behind a small pile of broken branches. What's eerie about the footage is that the creature was clearly staring at him, and as soon as it noticed the attention, it partially hid its face behind the wood. According to the hiker, the creature had an animalistic face, but there was an undeniable hint of something human in its features as well. Could this be actual evidence of Bigfoot lurking in the woods? Let's hear your thoughts. Do you think the government is spying on us? Well, the one who uploaded this clip certainly believes so and thinks they're using more advanced technology to do so. Confused by what I'm saying? Pay attention to this clip. Did you notice it? The bird's flashing blue, and that's certainly not normal. He thinks those flashes are due to the fact that the bird is actually not a biological being, but a technological creation. He also insists that even if it's not all technology, then it's a hybrid. You know, like an animal cyborg, an unholy marriage between technology and biology. Okay, I digress. Back to the footage. Do you have a logical explanation for the blue flashes that we're seeing, or do you go with the idea of the original poster? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments section. If you don't believe in skinwalkers, then this first clip is just for you. The man, or rather man-looking being you just saw, was recorded by a Trailcam that had been set up in the region of Mount Shasta. A researcher had been informed of strange occurrences in the region, and he set up many cameras in the region wanting to capture the phenomenon on tape. One day, he was visiting the sites where he had set up his cameras and discovered one had been removed. After searching for it, he found it a great distance from where he had originally set it up. This excited him, and he went home to see what the camera had recorded. What you see on your screen is what he found on the Trailcam after tinkering with it. He showed it to the locals, and they told him it had to be a skinwalker. Wanting external validation, he uploaded it onto one of our paranormal groups for their opinions, and many thought the same. There were a few who expressed skepticism about the authenticity of the clip, but the number was not significant. You've seen the clip too. What do you make of it?
Is the government watching you, Bob?
I didn't think they were after 30 years, but, due to recent events, I would probably change.
What happened?
Jeremy and I had a private conversation out in a remote area of my property. Cell phones in our pockets, but turned off.
All filmed?
And filming it. And Jeremy was down there to film some of this documentary. He left the following morning, and simultaneously there was an FBI raid at my place of business.
So the man being interviewed is Bob Lazar, and I will tell you more about him shortly. He went to a private location to film a documentary, and some hours later, he was greeted by the FBI. Bear in mind, I mentioned a remote area. The excuse given by the FBI was that they were looking for an individual who had bought toxic material, but Bob doesn't think that was it. They came with more individuals who could fit into his building, which should tell you something. Why were they trailing him, though? Well, it's because of who Bob is. For those who don't know him, Bob Lazar is a controversial figure best known for his claims in 1989 about working on reverse engineering extraterrestrial technology at a secretive site called S4 near Area 51, a highly classified U.S. Air Force facility in Nevada. Lazar asserted that the U.S. government was studying alien spacecraft and that he was involved in attempting to understand their propulsion systems, which allegedly utilized element 115, moscovium, as a fuel source. He described seeing flying saucers and working on advanced technology that operated by manipulating gravity. Lazar's revelations ignited widespread interest in UFOs and government cover-ups, but his credibility has been questioned. He believes they were looking for lost element 115. For those who are hearing this for the first time, it's known officially as moscovium, or MC for short, a synthetic chemical element with the atomic number 115. It gained notoriety in UFO and conspiracy circles largely because of claims made by Bob in 1989 that it was used as a power source for extraterrestrial spacecraft at a secret government facility. Yes, you heard that right. This is why Bob thinks they have been trailing him ever since. While many believe everything he's said over the years, skeptics point out inconsistencies in his educational and employment background, while his supporters argue that these records have been erased as part of a government effort to discredit him. It's a lot, yes, but what do you think?
FBI, what about this as a crime?
They're looking for some of the fuel from the craft that might have been stolen.
Element 115 was always something Bob said fueled the craft, a stable version. And to be direct, which Bob is being direct right now, they were looking to see if he had any of that taken out of Los Alamos where they machined it.
Right off the bat, we start with something Aaron, our in-house conspiracy theorist, has been dying for you to see. Oh, not literally, but you get the idea. Not sure if you noticed it, but if you were paying attention to the capture, a dark gray cloud, or at least something that looks like it descended from the sky towards the car before changing direction and moving towards the woods. The individual who uploaded this clip online believes it may be some paranormal entity. But after watching the clip for a while, well, I'm not exactly sure if that's what we're dealing with here. Julius, our in-house science whiz, believes it's poor video editing based on how the thing looks, and some members of the team, well, aren't having it. Let's just say the team is divided on what this might be. You've seen the clip. What do you think we're dealing with here? Let's hear your thoughts in the comment section. Human trafficking is one of the most distressing issues of our time, and despite years of awareness campaigns and efforts to stop it, the problem continues to grow alarmingly. Every year, millions of children and adults are trafficked worldwide, pulled into horrifying networks that are widespread as they're difficult to dismantle. While some operations are uncovered and stopped, the trafficking networks operate with frightening efficiency, spreading like an unstoppable disease. In certain impoverished regions, the situation is even more heart-wrenching. Parents, driven by desperation, may sell their children in exchange for money or material goods they could never otherwise afford. This tragic reality is especially prevalent in some communities across Africa, India, and other economically disadvantaged areas. What's even more concerning is the role of developed nations like America, which remains one of the largest consumers of trafficking operations. The demand fuels the supply, perpetuating this cycle of exploitation and despair. One harrowing example involves a man who, while driving home, noticed a suspicious van in front of him. His instincts told him something wasn't right, so he followed the vehicle at a safe distance and called the police. When authorities arrived and inspected the van, they made a grim discovery: people being trafficked inside. Traffickers often rely on ordinary citizens ignoring suspicious activities, and it's up to all of us to remain aware, report unusual behavior, and educate ourselves about the signs of human trafficking. Together, we can take small but impactful steps towards eradicating this inhumane practice. We've all heard those wild rumors about celebrities being cloned, but what if I told you some stars may actually hire stand-ins to take their place? Sure, we know actors have stunt doubles, but what about singers? Take this recent Usher concert, for example. Fans noticed something strange about the performance. Before the concert, it was reported that Usher had injured his neck and a few shows were even cancelled. But when he finally hits the stage, fans couldn't believe but noticed that something was off. Just look at this guy. He doesn't look much like the Usher we all know. I mean, a clone would have been a closer match. Even the voice didn't seem right. Could it be possible that Usher hired someone else to perform as him? If anyone has more info on what was at that concert, feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments section.
Yeah!
In this next footage, a strange craft was spotted in the sky, moving at an odd, mesmerizing way. It had this unusual glow or light in its center, almost resembling a missile or beam spinning in circles as it moved. The footage is quite blurry, making it hard to identify exactly what the object could be, but its movements and glowing center left many baffled. What I'm most curious about is the light that is spinning. What is that about? Aaron confidentially claimed it was a UFO, pointing to the erratic behavior and strange circling light as evidence of something extraterrestrial. Do you notice anything odd and unusual about this clip? Anything at all? No? Well, those clouds don't look normal, do they? If it was just one, I could think of pareidolia or some other odd coincidence, but take a look at how they're consistently spaced across the sky. It's almost as though they're in some sort of formation or have been organized to be like that. The more I thought about the capture, the more I felt these things looked like UFOs. Aaron shared the same view, and once he was told it was captured in Mexico, he was certain that it had to be the case. He thinks they may be saucers cloaked as clouds and hiding. Well, you've seen the clip, so what do you also think? A man was out by the water's edge when he captured something extraordinary swimming by. The footage shows a figure with long black hair and a shimmering fish-like tail moving gracefully through the water. The creature appeared unaware of the man sitting nearby, gliding away as though it belonged to another realm entirely. Could this be a mermaid? While mermaids are often dismissed as mythical beings from fairy tales, recent encounters and sightings from around the world have reignited debates about their existence. With so many accounts surfacing, it's hard not to wonder if there could be some truth to these age-old legends. What are your thoughts?
What is that? It's like shaking our entire house.
On September the 20th, 2024, residents of South Lake City, Utah, were rattled by a series of loud booming sounds that caused panic and confusion. People reported that the noise was so intense that it shook their homes and even led to rocks falling from the nearby canyon. Witnesses describe hearing the rocks tumble. These booming sounds had no clear cause. Some suspected it could have been due to seismic activity or even underground blasts. However, authorities have not yet confirmed the source, which only people were more concerned about. Natural occurrences like rock falls, underground shifts, or even sonic booms from aircrafts are possible explanations, but without an official statement, the cause remains unclear. Has anyone come across more information on what could have caused this? Let us know.
What is that? It's like shaking our entire house.
A family got the scare of their lives after their dog suddenly jumped on them while they were relaxing on the couch, and when they checked the security footage, they finally saw why. In the clip, you can see a man sitting on the couch, casually scrolling on his phone, with someone else covered up beside him. Their dog was lying peacefully nearby when out of nowhere it was yanked backwards by an unseen force. The startled dog immediately leapt up, looking terrified and confused, before climbing onto the couch with its owners. At first, the family had no idea what had scared their pet, but after reviewing the footage, it all became clear. There was nothing visible in the room, yet something clearly pulled their dog, and it reacted as if it had been attacked by an invisible presence. So was this just a strange coincidence, or was there something paranormal in their home? And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. Share this with someone you love, and I will see you in the next one.